Even though sometimes I've been asked a few questions around sort of my journey, my story around fitness, the motivation behind it, etc. So I thought, it might be worth the content for a second vlog. So I just wanted to share some of my stories, what my journey has looked like so far. And hopefully, if you can take anything from it, then fantastic. So a couple of years ago, I joined a Slimming World group local to me. At the time, I had a bit of a shock to the system after attending my daughter's birthday party at a soft play centre. And for me, that was the biggest sort of shock to the system I've ever had, because she just wanted to play with her daddy, running around, being incredibly active as kids are, and I just couldn't keep up. I couldn't be the sort of father I wanted to be in terms of being physically active enough to sort of get involved with them. So I decided to join a Slimming World group just to try and lose a bit of weight. And I joined in the first week of June of that year, back in 2017, and I was absolutely gobsmacked when I got on the scales, weighing in at just under 18 stone, which for me, a guy that's always been active, playing football sort of daily really as a kid, late teens, whatever, and to think that was where I was at was insane for me. Now, I'll never shame people for their weight, you never know the story behind it, but you've only ever got to be happy in the body that you've got. But at that point I wasn't, so I needed to do something differently. So just to put some context behind that, I'll show you a few photos of what I was like at that point. Now, as I said, I wasn't happy, so I really enrolled in Slimming World, and for those that have seen like the few posts that I've put about it, I'm quite an anxious guy, very much introvert, so go into that sort of environment was well out of my comfort zone, but I'm so glad that I did it, absolutely glad that I did it, because it brought me out of my shell, but it showed me a side that I never thought that I had in me, and that was one that was sort of hell-bent on achieving this goal. So my goal after my first weigh-in was that I wanted to get to an acceptable weight in terms of my BMI, so that was just under 13 stone, so I was looking at about a 4 stone loss. Now, to me, on the first day, that was impossible, that was never going to happen. I hadn't seen 12 stone on a scale since I was like 13, 14. So, but, aim high and go for it. And actually, I achieved that from the first week of June. It took me until the second week of December to get to my target weight. And the transformation was incredible. I was really motivated behind it. I'm gutted I didn't document it more. But I'll just show you a transformation of before and after pic, so you can see. It just goes to show what the art of the possible is, really. And like I said, it's probably my biggest accomplishment to date, losing the weight I absolutely needed to, and it was better for me, and subsequently obviously for my daughter and my son, because they've got a dad that can sort of go out in the garden with them, run around, play football, whatever. without collapsing on the floor, gasping for breath. So that was sort of the start of it, really. Now fast forward to last year. We moved house to a completely new area. So put everything sort of out of sync for a little while. So the Slim World stopped. I tried going to a new one, but it wasn't right, and I think at the time I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I wanted to do something different, and for me, I was missing doing something active. So I decided to go to the gym. So enrolled in a Snap Fitness gym in Trowbridge, and it wasn't long before I thought, you know what, I want to sort of push this on a little bit further. So I enrolled in a PT sort of session, and sort of hooked up with an amazing PT. His name's Joel, and the guy's an absolute unit. Now, at that point, never did I think that I wanted to sort of get into bodybuilding or sort of lift heavy weights for a daily pastime, but I just got such a rush for it, and loving every minute of it, because the sort of positive impact it's had on me, in terms of my health, my sort of self-confidence, it's just been insane. Now, I don't know how Instagram came into this. I don't really know where that came from, but I suppose it sort of comes from the fact that I wanted to help people sort of experience what I was experiencing. Now, for me, as a sort of a teen, a student growing up, I wanted to be a PE teacher, and sort of promote physical health and well-being. It's probably the only educational regret that I've had not pushing that through. So I suppose if this is as close as I can get to it, in terms of supporting in anybody who wants to sort of start their own fitness journey, or hit a bit of a crossroads in their own one, and just wants that motivation, it's just around, just keep striving for it. I never thought I would lose the weight or get to the point that I am now. But it's just through hard work, and just keep believing that you're doing it. And, even if it's as simple as just going for a walk, getting up for a walk is better than just sitting on the sofa and watching, whatever's on the telly. Never did I think it would it sort of get to the point where I was going to events like I did the other week. Never did I think that I'd get to the point where I'd have, nearly 3,000 followers on Instagram. And, I've got to the point now where people in the gym are coming up and sort of asking me questions in the morning, or just sort of conversing with me when I'm in there, which, is great in itself, having the social aspect. And the guys on Instagram, I get a lot of questions now asking me for advice on sort of workouts, nutrition, sort of well-being. And that's insane, and I'm glad that people are enjoying the content to the point where they feel that they can ask me those questions, and that's where it will come from. So you think in the space of 2 years, I've gone from basically Slimming World to Studio 3 for a Gymshark event. It does take hard work, don't get me wrong. The Slimming World journey from June to December was incredibly hard, because I had to change a habit, a lifestyle. I would eat absolutely anything and everything that was in the cupboards, to whereas now it's very much, really concentrating on what I'm putting into my body. I do have the element of my IJ that I need to bear in mind as well. So it is trying to balance everything finally to ensure that I'm, physically the healthiest I can be. Just to sort of finish that off, really, it is just to sort of keep promoting about the fact that, if you feel that, there's something that you want to achieve, something that you want to strive for, it's always important to have that goal, but you can absolutely achieve it. Learn from people around you. Ask questions. Never be afraid to learn. Knowledge is absolute power, and you will get there eventually. It might take 2 months, 2 years, may take longer, but you will get there in the end. So keep striving for it. Keep positive, and you, like I said, you'll get there. There have been questions, as I said earlier, around my IgA, my sort of kidney disorder. I will raise awareness about that on my next vlog. It's quite important to find that balance. So tune in again. I will sort of post an update on my Instagram when that is going up onto my YouTube channel. So hopefully you like the vlog so far. I absolutely hate them because I hate talking to the camera. I haven't quite got that confidence yet, but if these help you in any way, then absolutely fantastic. Keep going. See you soon.